All right, lucky for you. Screencastify has a time limit, so I got to keep this really short, but that also means I'm going to whip through it. So you've already noticed that the Thames Valley site has changed and the teacher sites are donezo and changing as well. So if you would like to keep a teacher website, you're going to have to switch over to Google Sites. So this tutorial can help you. I'm going to leave it in this tech folder. I will repost the link for that so that you can watch it, pause, figure out what you need to do when your brain's more clear, and you can figure out how you want your website to look for next year if you want one. So you're going to do new. Then you have to do more and Google Sites. Mine is asking about this create and share thing because that folder is shared with everyone. Yours probably won't prompt you for that. So once it loads, it is pretty user-friendly and it looks like very basic. So you're just going to give it a name. And then here, what it defaults to is just your home page. So you might just put like welcome, welcome to our class, whatever you want to do. It is user-friendly, but it's basic. And what I mean by that is you're really limited in what you can do. So for example, this kind of looks sort of boring right now. I can play with that in this themes thing on the right-hand side. So I really don't have very many options though. That's like what, six things I can choose. So I'm going to choose this. I'm just going to whip along here so that I don't run out of time in this video. Change it to green, play with it, do what you want. Here are a few other things you can change. You can pick a new picture. They have a bunch of stock photos. You can upload from your drive. To do the stock photos, you do select image. And they do have a few choices. I'm just going to leave the world because we're limited. Again, other things you can play with how it looks, something like that. Maybe I want to leave it like that. So then you need to decide if you want kind of one page where all the information is here, they just scroll down and they see it all, or if you want to build where they have links and they can click on the links to go where they want. So I'm not going to show you the one page way because I think it's going to become evident as I show you pages. So I'm going to click on this page thing here and plus, and I'm going to add a newsletters page. I'm going to add a timetable page. And I'm going to add a homework page and a photos page. So you can have more links within these links. So an example that makes sense for this is the newsletters. So for this, I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to do add a sub page. So I'm going to do a September one. Not going to take the time to add all of these, but I just want to add a few so that you can see what it would look like. So I'm adding one for each month just so that they could refer back to things that you said earlier in the year if they needed to or whatever. So there's three of them. So here's what it now looks like is that they can hover and choose what month they want to be in. So let's say I set that all up and I'm like, I actually think that homework is more important than timetable, but now I have them in the wrong order. Easy peasy. Click, drag, switch it around. So now it goes my home page, my newsletter page, my homework, my timetables, photos last. So within this newsletter page, I'm just going to show you how to add something to it. So obviously it's added the title for me. If I want to change the look of that, I can. And then I'm going to go to this insert thing. So I've got four options here. I can insert a text box, an image, upload something, or embed something. So I'm going to put a text box first. And I'm going to put, here is our back to school newsletter as well as the student information page. So then now that I've said that, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I actually don't want to call this newsletters. Maybe I want to just call this news. No problem. Can change that really fast. Can change it on here as well so that my link matches it. So now I've got news. They can go into September. So in September, I want to have my newsletter there and I want to have a student page there. Again, really limited in what you can do. You can center it. You can kind of add a bit of background. You can change the font slightly, but really not by much. So I'm going to do that so that it's really evident. And then I want to insert the newsletter that I already typed in my Drive. So I'm going to pick from Drive. And I just need to find the page. Actually, let me add the student information page. So I'm just going to pop that in. So what I did, I just clicked on it, and now I'm going to click Insert, and it's going to appear on my website. So I want them to be able to see it more, so I'm going to stretch it right out. And this is where I find Google Sites is a bit weird. So sometimes you look at it and you're like, this doesn't really look how I want it to look. It doesn't look like it's showing the whole page. Looks like they've formatted it really weird. Like right now, it kind of looks like you can't see the whole paper, even though I've like stretched it. If you want to double check that, click the eyeball. So that's going to show you what your website looks like. And you can even see what it will look like on a phone or a tablet or a regular computer. So once I look, I'm like, oh, okay, actually you can see this. So that's perfect. You'll also notice that it automatically adds this option where they can open it in a separate window, which is maybe what they would do if they wanted to print it, for example. So that's a cool option as well. So I've added that. You could also, if you've got a newsletter, you could put that below. So you just want to upload something else. I don't actually write any newsletters, so I'm just going to add like a random Google Doc that I already have. And keep thinking you can click and drag. You can't, but trial and error. And there's that. So again, I would just like stretch it out to make it look how you want to look. And let's say hypothetically I decide, oh shoot, I actually want this in front of this or before it. I can just click and drag and move things around. So I could decide that I want this first. So I can just like pop it up here. Now it's first. If I want it to be really evident between the two, I might add a divider. And now it's like, oh, here's my one document, here's my other one. So basically that's all you need to know for adding stuff to any of the pages. I want to show you what it looks like if you do the timetable, because I was saying that one ends up a bit funny sometimes. So if I want to add from my Drive, my timetable, I can click it and insert it. And it's stretched really big. And even as I continue stretching, it looks like it's cutting off the sides. I don't know if you're noticing that. So as big as I've made it, it's not looking like it's going to fit. And again, I just suggest using that eyeball to double check, because most of the time I find it's actually fine. So they can see every day in my cycle. It's pretty user-friendly. Again, they could print it if they wanted to, pop it out in a separate window, print it, save it for themselves. That is taking forever to load, and my timer just came up saying I've got 23 seconds left to wrap this up. So the last thing you might want to know how to do is to add photos. So you're going to use the exact same thing. You're going to go into here and insert and images, and you have access to every image in your Drive, so you can just find them and pop them in.